start with breaking news. Several people shot tonight at Ladd-Peebles Stadium, at least one with life-threatening injuries. That's all according to Mobile police.
Yeah, the shooting's happening late in the fourth quarter, around 9:35 tonight of the Viger-Williamson football game. You can see players on both teams right there, ordered to lay down on the field. They were told to go to the far side, the east side of the field, just seconds after the shots were fired.
Now, we just heard from Mobile Police Chief Paul Prine telling us about the number of people injured in this. He said at least 4, one, as we mentioned, in critical condition. He also added that 2 of the people hurt in this incident are juveniles.
And he also talked about the suspects in this case. He says at least 2 people in a white vehicle. Though they're looking for them, and I do believe they have a partial tag on the suspect's car. Hi, everybody. I'm Byron Day.
And I'm Monique Lagon. Let's get right out now to Fox News reporter Dacian Smith, because he's been at the stadium tonight covering this. Joining us live, Dacian, I know you were on Facebook talking about what you saw and what you heard. What are you learning now?
Hey, Lanice, the scene has calmed down quite a bit. If you take a look behind me, just a few officers remain. But if we go to the video from earlier, it was about the midway point in the fourth quarter of the Viger-Williamson game when the shots were fired. A play was just blown dead. Then immediately fans started rushing out of the stands, rushing the field, trying to make their way to the nearest exit. A lot of them rushing towards the nearest exit. Some of them staying in place, just wondering what was going on. Not everyone had originally heard the shots, but a couple people who ran by me while I was on the field said, "Oh my God, somebody's been shot, somebody's been shot." The coaches from both teams immediately telling the football players, go to the other side of the stadium, go to Williamson sideline, lay down, and wait until we hear from Mobile Police that it is safe to move about. That did last for about 10 to 15 minutes before the football teams, the bands, the cheerleaders, they all eventually started to get up, start walking to their respective locker rooms, towards their buses, and leave. Now, a lot of the fans had, again, gone to the nearest gate, started walking up, looking for the people that they came to see at the game, looking for the people that they came with to the game, just trying to say, I need to find my brother, my sister, whoever it was that they're looking for. Security was on hand telling them, come out the gate, make sure you're with everybody in your party, make sure you're with everybody that you came to the game with. As soon as you get those people, go to your cars, it's not safe right now, leave the stadium, and a lot of them did so. It was homecoming for Viger, so definitely a packed crowd out here, and it didn't take long for the crowd to thin out. Now, not too long ago, Police Chief Paul Prine just wrapped up a press conference, and here's a little bit about what he had to say.
At approximately 21:45 hours tonight, we had a shooting. There was multiple shots fired here on the West Concourse ramp. We do not have a motive yet. We do know that we have 4 people that have been shot. 1 is critical. 2 of the 4 are juveniles, and they have been carried to local hospitals now, where 1 is in critical condition.
Do y'all have any arrests at all?
No, we have not made any arrests. We did get information, credible information, that at least 2 of the perpetrators fled in a white sedan. What we do have is that there are possibly 2 black male subjects that were involved in the altercation, but we have not identified them at this time, and the investigation is still ongoing.
Were the shots fired inside the stadium or outside?
No, the shots were fired on the west ramp that's right behind us. Okay. It was not shot in the arena or in the football area where the stands were at, but it was here on the exit ramp coming out of the stadium.
So the person in critical condition is a juvenile?
I can't give you that information, as I don't really know now. We're still trying to sort out. As you know, we had 4 victims, and so we're trying to identify exactly who they are right now.
So do we have any idea how someone may have gotten a gun in with metal detectors at Ladd and all Mobile? Yeah,
that's going to be a part of the investigation. I don't have that information right now, but that will be a part of the overall investigation.
The game was stopped, right?
The game was stopped, and the game has since ended.
It seemed like there was a lot of chaos and a lot of panic. You guys were able to kind of just get out here and kind of saturate the area. When you have a crowd like this, how do you deal with all that?
Well, as you can imagine, there are a lot of young people here that's enjoying the game or whatever the case may be, and when the shots rang out, obviously a lot of people started to run. But with the officers here, they're trained to come in and try to mitigate that panic, if you will. This is an isolated incident that is here, and we don't believe that there's any harm or jeopardy to the public.
It's a very similar scene to what happened in 2019 as well. Would you kind of speak on that a little bit?
I'm not familiar with that, with the details of it, but we could certainly look into it and see if there's any relevance with it.
Do you guys believe there were multiple shooters? Was this a shootout, or was it just these two suspects?
My understanding is we have several individuals that may be involved, but possibly just one shooter is what we know.
And when we were here, we saw a lot of activity with officers kind of, when I say running, like running to get to their vehicles, and then other officers in the area just racing somewhere else. Can you tell us where they were going, or is there another scene? Or?
Well, we got information that at least 2 individuals got into a white sedan and fled the area, and that information was broadcasted amongst the officers. So just as a precautionary measure, officers had kind of mobilized and went outside of the area of the stadium in an attempt to find a white vehicle.
And I know that you guys said that one of the victims is life-threatening. Are homicide investigators out here just doing their due diligence in case something like that happens?
So investigators are out here. We always secure a scene with this nature to preserve evidence. The injury is critical. Whether or not it's life-threatening is yet to be seen.
Got it.
Do you know how many shots were fired at all?
There were approximately 5 to 7 is what we believe happened, but we have recovered at least 4 shell casings.
A couple weeks ago, we were at the Atmore game, and there were some concerns about retaliation. Do you think this has anything to do with that?
I would have no knowledge of that right now.
What's your just overall reaction to this? I mean, a lot of people were emotional coming out. I mean, obviously, everybody's coming here just to watch a football game. So what's kind of your reaction to it happening?
Well, my reaction to it is I'm disturbed by it. You know, this is a place where family comes, children come after being in school all week. This is a place where they can come and enjoy the family, the competition that's involved in it. And this type of gun violence is not going to be tolerated. And as the new chief, I can assure you, we will be very serious about it.
Yeah, disappointing to see this happen where you said there were hundreds of people here, right?
I'm not quite sure how many people here, but you know, with a football game of this nature between 2 rivalries, I'm sure there were quite a few people here.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else you want to say?
No.
Again, that was Mobile Police Chief Paul Prine speaking about what happened here tonight. Again, 4 people shot, but they have been transported. 1 person in the hospital tonight in critical condition. We do know that at least 2 of them were juveniles, but again, this is still a very active investigation. Mobile Police looks to be wrapping up here on scene soon, but for now, I'll send it back to you, Byron. Lanice.
All right, Jason, thanks very much. Our Lee Peck also at Ladd-Peebles Stadium tonight for us. And Lee, I know that you spoke with at least one parent who was at the game. Tell us what they had to say.
Well, Byron, when we arrived, as you can imagine, it was a chaotic scene. There was still panic here in the parking lot. If we can go to that video and show you, there were ambulances who were leaving the scene, police officers still arriving on the scene, and just, you know, spectators, parents, students in the parking lot everywhere as police were trying to do their job and figure out exactly what happened here tonight at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. But as you can imagine, a lot of panic when they heard those shots ring out. We spoke to a parent volunteer with Viger High School who was really set up, waiting right outside the stadium, waiting to feed the football players as they walked off the field. Let's take a listen to what she said as the scary situation unfolded tonight here at the game. I guess Friday night football is supposed to be a fun night. You guys were getting ready for a fundraiser. I guess, what did you hear?
Well, no, we're actually feeding the team, the football team and the cheerleaders, and was stacking plates and heard gunfire and a lot of screaming and running. So, yeah.
People were panicked?
Oh, definitely. Yes, we all were. We all were.
I understand that at least 4 people have been injured. They're telling 1 life-threatening. I guess we're still seeing the ambulances come and go.
Right. And that's all that it's just hearsay right now. There was rumor 1 was deceased, but then we were told that he's not. So, yeah, it's a lot of chaos going on right now.
Are you a parent?
I am, but I have my cousins and my brother's a coach, so, and a nephew on the field. So, yeah, it was pretty traumatic.
All your kids are okay, though?
My kids are okay, and my cousins' kids are okay. We kept them on the phone until we knew that they were okay, so.
and you can actually hear the panic and the stress in her voice as she was talking to us. This is moments after all of this unfolded tonight here at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. And one thing that Chief Prine said before we cut back, he said that if he had a message to the shooters, he said, "I would turn yourselves in right now." Again, a very active investigation. They have mobile police patrol units looking for this white sedan with 2 suspects believed to have fired the shots here at Ladd. Of course, we're going to keep on this. We'll, of course, keep you updated on air and online. Byron Lanise.
All right, thank you, Lee. And yes, you obviously could hear that woman's concern there. This is what happened, right? This is video that we got from Twitter from what happened when those shots were fired. Jeff Martin sent this to me on Twitter. He said he was not, he did not hear the gunshots as they were fired, but he was on the field when it all happened.
And you can see the players, the coaches, herding the players over to the far sideline. So the Viger players, the Williamson players, both hugging the ground, and their coaches ordering them to do so. And as you can see, the confusion, the panic in the stands, people jumping over the fence of the grandstand, then running to the exit gates there in the end zone to get away from the stadium and get away from the gunfire that they heard.
And our Lacey Beasley, also with our team coverage on this incident tonight, she was at University Hospital where you can see the ambulances were pulling up. USA Health video we have here as well. Again, 4 people shot. Victims were taken to area hospitals for treatment. We know at least 1 is in critical condition.
We're continuing to follow this story. The shootings at Ladd Stadium, 4 people wounded, at least 1 in critical condition. 2 of the 4 are juveniles.